So grocery prices seem to not be going down anytime soon, and possibly they may even be getting worse. So to help me stay within my budget and make sure that I am not overspending on groceries and that no food is going to waste, I'm going to attempt to spend around $200 to pack my freezer full of pre-made ready-to-go dinners and pre-made ready-to-go breakfasts. So let's go ahead and let's go shopping. Today I'm going to be going to Winco, and my budget today is around $200. Now I'm thinking I could get away with a lot of ready-to-go freezer meals for $200. But with tariffs and everything going up in price, I'm curious if I'm still going to be able to get a good amount of groceries for $200 and help me feed a family of 4. Now, if I go over today's budget, that is totally fine, because this grocery haul is going to be not only for groceries for this week, but also for future meals as well. So I am going to be preparing a lot of meals with today's groceries. I'm thinking I'm going to be able to get a lot. My fingers are crossed. I worked really hard to plan out this meal plan to make sure that it was affordable and still tasty and something my kids would also like as well. Let's go grab a shopping cart, and my fingers are crossed that it's not too busy as well. This parking lot is pretty packed right now, so we'll see what it looks like in the store. Also, as a reminder to my future self, I need to see if they have any energy drinks on sale. I've been trying to do coffee, but coffee just doesn't do it for me. Like, I don't get enough energy from a cup of coffee. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to find some energy drinks too on a budget, because I have a long work week ahead of me. Sales have slowed down for my small business, so I'm going to have to work a little extra harder this week to drive in sales. I'm going to need some energy drinks. All right, let's go. Okay, so we are in Winco right now. I just walked in, and when you walk into Winco, they have like a whole section of like deals going on. So of course, I had to get this big bag of pancake mix. I don't need it technically, but I'm gonna be meal prepping a ton of breakfast items, so I'll probably end up using up my entire bag. So it's best just to have another bag as backup. This is $8.48. Okay, so I'm also going to be getting 2 packs of these Hawaiian rolls. Typically I don't buy these, but they are on sale right now for $6.98, and I'm going to be doing a couple freezer snacks using those. Of course, my favorite chips. I'm also going to be getting these flour tortillas. These are only $3.98 for a pack of 20. All right, I'm getting 2 bags of cheese, 1 mozzarella, and 1 of this Mexican blend. It is pretty packed in here. It is like around noonish, so I'm kind of surprised that it's so busy right now. Whew, holy cow, it is packed in here, which is making it a little bit more challenging for me to film. But I'm gonna pull off to the side and check my grocery list to see what else I need. So I am gonna be making my own like pizzas from scratch. So I'm also gonna be making my own pizza sauce, so I need to get a lot, and I mean a lot of tomato sauce today, because a lot of my dishes are going to require it for a lot of the recipes. I'm going to get 2 big cans of tomato sauce. These are $1.57 each, and this should make me a ton of pizza sauce. I also like to get these little ones too, especially when I'm just like making side dishes like Spanish rice or Mexican rice. I love to have this as a smaller can option. I'm also going to get these diced tomatoes with the green chilies just to have another option. I'm also going to be getting some of these Asian sauces as well. So I saw like this hack where you use like chicken nuggets and then you toss it with those sauces, and they come out really good. So my kids love that, and I feel like that'd be a quick and easy little snack for them. All right, we're also going to be getting these 2 big cans of enchilada sauce. These are $2.48 each. All right, so I'm going to pull over, and I'm going to check my phone to see what else we need to get. I haven't even started shopping for the meat yet, and a lot of these dishes need meat. However, my niece did give me like 6 pounds of ground beef. She bought some from Costco. So I'm going to be able to use a lot of that ground beef for a lot of these meals. But yeah, so it looks like all we have to get is dairy products still and look at the meat. I think everything else, though, we are good. I need to get some pepperonis, which I don't know if that will be on like where the meat aisle is, or if it's going to be near processed foods, I guess. I do need to get a ton of pasta noodles. All right, we're getting some pasta noodles we have 2 pasta dishes for this week's freezer meal prep. So I'm gonna get this bag. It's only $1.18. And then I also got a ton of seasonings too. They're only 98 cents here, which is an amazing deal for seasonings. So if you ever need to stock up and don't want to spend a ton of money, Winco's brand of seasonings are so affordable. So I'm gonna be attempting to make my own pizza crust. So I'm gonna need some yeast. So I got 2 different kinds because I'm also gonna be trying to make my own bread as well. But my basket is pretty packed. Now I'm thinking I'm probably gonna go over my $200 budget. So that's totally okay because a lot of these, like a lot of the stuff that's in this cart is going to be made for future meals. So this is gonna be more than just a week's worth of groceries. Oh my gosh, guys, I am back from the grocery store and I definitely went over my budget. So let's go ahead and go over everything. I did get a lot of food. But honestly, for how much food I got, I'm actually impressed with how much we spent. So for all of these items, I spent $292. There were a couple throw-ins at the very end that I obviously didn't need. And then I also picked up some cooking utensils as well for this meal prep. So that also added to the budget. But let's go over everything. And this is not only a freezer meal prep, but also a week's worth of groceries as well. So let's go over everything. All right, honestly, I don't even know where to begin. So let's begin with the meat. So for this week, I got a little chicken. I'm gonna do a rotisserie chicken. That's gonna be good for any of our lunches. I also splurged a little bit. This is gonna be for tonight's dinner just because I have a lot of meal prepping that I'm gonna have to do. I think I deserve a nice, yummy tri-tip steak. It was only $12.14, so honestly, that was a really good deal for a tri-tip steak. I also got this pork loin to make pulled pork sandwiches for my family. It comes with 2 of them, so this should be more than enough food for, I would say, probably 2 nights worth of dinner, possibly even 3 meals. Also, too, for this week, I got us some chicken drumstick. These were only $5. And then for part of our meal prep, I got a big thing of chicken breasts for only $11. And then I also got these chicken thighs for $7.21. As a quick, easy lunch for my kids this week too, if I don't feel like going all out and cooking something, I also got these boxes of mac and cheese. They're only like $1.50, $1.72. And then I mentioned this earlier in my video, I had to pick up some seasonings as well for a lot of these dishes, and I'm out of some of these. Winco has such a good deal on seasonings. You get this decent sized container for only 98 cents. I have my enchilada sauce, a ton of different tomato sauces. I got tomato sauce. I also got tomato paste, diced tomatoes, smaller cans of tomato sauce. I'm gonna be doing a lot of dishes this week for our meal prep that are gonna require a lot of tomato sauce, so I definitely had to stock up on that. I also got these home-style potatoes to go with my tri-tip tonight because I really honestly don't want to stress over cooking. And my husband, he always cooks the tri-tips, so I don't have to worry about dinner tonight. I also got some bread as well. I got these to meal prep Uncrustables. I've done videos on these before. I also got a big thing of corn tortillas because I'm gonna be meal prepping some enchiladas for the freezer. And I also got these containers for that as well. I got my favorite Greek yogurt. I always love meal prepping some granola as well, so I'll be meal prepping that for that. I also splurged a little bit and got some ice cream along with some ice cream cones. It's getting hotter, and honestly the kids, they've been requesting ice cream, so I thought as like a little snack for us, I got some ice cream. All right, I'm not gonna be able to go over every little thing, but as snacks for the week, I got strawberries, some bananas, some apples. I got onions and bell peppers to use for a lot of our freezer meals this week, so this is gonna be for part of the prepping. I got carrots as like a snack for us. I got these as well because I plan on making some egg burritos, some breakfast taquitos as well, so I needed some flour tortillas. A decent amount of cheese. I got 3 blocks of cheese, and then I got 2 things of shredded cheese as well. I also got some hamburger buns for our pulled pork sandwiches. It's a regular loaf of bread. And then I also got these Hawaiian rolls. I typically don't get these because they're pretty pricey, but they were on sale for this really, really big pack. And I am gonna be meal prepping some little tiny mini cheeseburgers, and some mini pizza sandwiches as well. So these will all be meal prepped and frozen. And then I also splurged on some eggs too. These were only $27 at Winco for a 5 dozen case. Last time I was at Winco, these were $45 for a case of eggs. So the price has gone down, but definitely it has not gone down to like its normal prices, and hopefully someday they will go down a lot more because eggs are just, again, just way too expensive. I got my favorite bag of pancake mix. I use this to meal prep waffles, pancakes, breakfast sandwiches as well, like little McGriddles. So I got a big bag of this. And then something else I got that I never eat, and I honestly hate cottage cheese, but I found this recipe of some high protein bagels. So I'm gonna be making some high protein bagels. I did get some flour. I have a lot of baking to do for some bagels, and then pizza crust. I have never made pizza crust or any type of bread items before, so this should be interesting to say the least. But that's just a quick rundown of everything that I got. I have a busy night ahead of me to meal prep a lot of things and get things ready for tomorrow's meal prep as well, because I'm doing breakfast and dinners for my freezer. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put all of this stuff away, and then I'll see you guys later tonight. We are gonna meal prep a few things tonight, but I think tomorrow is going to be the big day of cooking. So definitely, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because all of these groceries are going to be used for a bunch of meal prepping, and I'm not going to be able to fit it all in this video. So I do have 2 more videos planned to use with all of these ingredients. So definitely hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss out on all of this. So I ran out of room in my fridge, so I'm going to go ahead and start cooking up this chicken since I already need to cook it. It won't fit in my fridge, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start seasoning this and just cook it in my crock pot. So all of this chicken is gonna be used for our enchiladas, our enchilada soup. So we have this chicken for a few meals. So basically I'm just gonna be using some taco seasoning. I put a little bit of olive oil at the bottom of the pan, but I'm just gonna do a hefty amount of just some taco seasoning. Keep it simple, keep it easy. Let this cook on high for about 3-4 hours. And then once it's done cooking, I'll just shred it up, and then we'll have our chicken ready to go for our meal prep. The chicken, it's all done. I'm gonna go ahead and shred this up. All right, so our chicken is all shredded. Now let's assemble our enchiladas. We are gonna do a tray of green enchiladas and a tray of red enchiladas. And then I also have this bag of frozen burritos that I meal prepped for like a month or 2 ago. But I'm thinking though, because we already have a bag of frozen chorizo bean burritos, and these are just plain bean burritos. We like the chorizo ones better, so I'm thinking we'll use these and do like a wet burrito kind of casserole kind of thing. Will you repurpose those and use those for another freezer meal? But let's start with the enchiladas, or actually no, let's start with the bean burritos because I feel like that would be the quickest and easiest to start with. All right, so with this one, we're gonna be using red enchilada sauce. And I'm just gonna do a layer of sauce on the bottom. And then we'll layer our burritos. These burritos came out good, but me and my husband are kind of burnt out on them because we've been eating them a lot. So I figured this way we'll bring these burritos and like new life to them and make them taste a little different for us. Kind of mix it up. All right, so we got a decent amount of burritos in there, and then we still even have some left over. And then we're gonna do our layer of sauce. All right, and then we're gonna do our layer of cheese. I'm gonna add a little bit more sauce because I like my burritos like really wet and kind of like soggy pretty much. And you can always do this recipe with just regular like frozen burritos that you get from the grocery store. This is always a quick and really easy meal. I've seen it done before, and I've been wanting to try it. So I'm thinking that this is gonna turn out really good. So these containers didn't come with lids. Next time I definitely will be purchasing some with lids on them, but I'm just gonna use tinfoil wrap. And then with some tape, I'm just gonna add a little note that says what the item is. And I'll write wet burritos. I probably spelled burrito wrong, but there's the wet burritos. All right, first meal down. All right, so I have a thing of corn tortillas already open, so I'm gonna start with this bag first. before I tap into my new bag. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the rest of this sauce for my bottom layer. And when I make these, when I make my enchiladas, I just do them like a casserole pretty much. So I have 4 tortillas on the bottom. I'll do a layer of chicken. All right, then we'll do some cheese. And you can fry your tortillas or you can warm them up beforehand. But whenever I do these casseroles, to help save on calories, I will just cook them just as is. All right, here's my other can of enchilada sauce. All right, there is 1 tray of enchiladas down. Now let's make our green enchiladas. We still have a decent amount of cheese left, and we also have some chicken left over too. So I'm thinking with this leftover chicken, I could do some not enchiladas. I could do some quesadillas and freeze those. Okay, so since we have a little bit of chicken left, I'm gonna use some Frank's Red Hot sauce, and we're gonna do like a buffalo chicken quesadilla. But we're gonna add some barbecue sauce to it because there's this wing sauce called Daytona sauce. If you were ever a Hooters fan, Daytona wing sauce is the best sauce ever. So I like to recreate that using Frank's Red Hot with some barbecue, and it's delicious. And I like to use Sweet Baby Ray's. Let's do a little bit of that, and then we'll just mix this together. Typically, when I do this, I like to caramelize the chicken or the sauce on the chicken. But because these are going to be going into quesadillas, we're not going to do that. And then we're going to use our tortillas that we got today at the grocery store. And typically I would heat the tortillas up. But I'm thinking I'm just going to fill them up, and then when I cook them or reheat them, I'll just throw them on my skillet and then brown the tortilla that way. Just to save time right now because I'm getting kind of tired. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish these up. So when we make these, we're gonna do a little bit of cheese. That's kind of like a lot of cheese. Some of the chicken, and just like that. And then we'll just fold it in half. Okay, so I actually ended up deciding to do 1 more meal. So far what we have made, we have 3 frozen meals, and then I made 6 buffalo chicken quesadillas. So 3 meals, 6 buffalo chicken quesadillas. I want to do 1 more meal, and this meal is so incredibly easy. So I bought these raviolis in some older videos, and I still haven't used them yet, so I'm going to use them tonight. And then in my last video, I had a pound of turkey left over for my meal prep, so I'm going to be using that pound of turkey. This is already cooked. I just cooked it up and put it in the freezer, save for later. And I'm also going to be using the mozzarella cheese that I got today. And then I also have just a basic can of tomato sauce. So basically what I'm going to do is just do another casserole. I'm also going to use some of my Italian seasoning as well. I'm just going to do a layer of sauce on the bottom. I'm hoping that this 1 can or jar of tomato sauce will be enough. So I do plan on making my own pizzas from scratch, which that means I'm gonna have to make my own tomato sauce from scratch. So I bought a bunch of those ingredients today to meal prep. So definitely keep a lookout for that video. I'm really excited to make that video. So we have our first layer of raviolis. I'm gonna add my turkey, and then we'll do a layer of mozzarella. We're gonna do some more sauce over top of that. And with these raviolis, you don't need to pre-cook them or anything. The water that's in the sauce will help these cook all the way through. Or the moisture in the sauce, I should say. All right, that is all the ravioli. Let's go ahead and add the rest of the ground turkey. Do our cheese, the rest of our sauce. And if you want yours really saucy, you could totally add some more tomato sauce. I'm gonna add some water to this jar just to get the rest of that sauce out. I am gonna add just one of my smaller cans of tomato sauce that I got today to this mixture. I will add just a little bit more cheese on top. And then I'm gonna add some of my Italian seasonings. All right, that is it for this meal. That was so incredibly easy and quick to whip up. And I still have plenty of cheese left over that I'll be using for my pizza recipe that's in my next video. All right, that is our last meal of the night. So I still have plenty more to meal prep for this series, so definitely hit that subscribe button. I have a lot of freezer prepping that I have to do, and I'm hoping that my freezer can handle it. Let's go put this in there and let's see how much room we have to work with. So this is the freezer that I use. I have the Hamilton Beach freezer. We got this from Costco. Comes with a bunch of different sections, but here are my red enchiladas and green enchiladas in this container. Down here we have our red burritos and then our raviolis. And then everything else is still pretty packed. I have refried beans prepped, my pepper mixture, some mashed potatoes, some shrimp for some future meals. And then we have some other items. So our freezer's pretty packed, but I'm hoping we'll be able to fit a little bit more in here. Well, that's going to be it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had so much fun cooking and prepping all these meals. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. I'll see you next time. Bye.